The Winter Games in PyeongChang shined a spotlight on the sport of luge when Chris Mazdzer from Saranac Lake piloted his sled 90 miles per hour down an icy chute to win an Olympic silver medal. This week, our LaDuke introduces us to a former luge star who now builds sleds for Olympians around the world out of his garage in Lake Placid.
The mountain village of Saranac Lake recently held a celebration for returning local Olympians. Luger Chris Mazdzer of Saranac Lake was there displaying his winning silver medal. Duncan Kennedy walked from his nearby home in Lake Placid to his shop. There, he meticulously handcrafts Olympic-level sleds, one at a time. Kennedy became a luger at 11 years old, progressing to a competitive level athlete.
It's sleigh riding. It's just sledding. And every kid loves sledding, or at least most do. And, you know, I went out to the track for the first time, saw the Olympic trials in '79, and I was like, whoa, this beats the hell out of the golf course. This is sledding.
He later trained, competed in races, and coached athletes. He was hooked on the sport.
It leaves an effect of, I want to feel that again. I want to go do that again. And so there you have it.
He also worked for the U.S. Luge Federation as technical director, designing sleds. After leaving there, he formed Kennedy Racing Sleds.
I tend to pay a little more attention to detail as far as not only how the sled's made, but how it's put together. The aesthetics of it, the functionality of it. And also, when you have a baseline of very precisely made parts, you can interchange those parts, which becomes really, really important at some point during your career or even season by season basis.
Kennedy said that he worked hard to be innovative, to be ahead of the game, to produce winning sleds. Four-time Olympian Gordy Shear and a silver medalist in 1998, said that the sleds are misleading to look at.
Our sleds are deceptively simple looking. There aren't a lot of components. It's not like a motor or an engine in a car. But at the same time, there's a tremendous amount of engineering that goes into each of those components. And there's a goal set in mind with each piece that's engineered. So everything is there to do its job.
Kennedy collaborates with engineers at nearby Clarkson University.
And we're working on a couple of different areas, computational fluid dynamics. We're going to hopefully get into some friction testing. Also, they've got a group working on a doubles sled, which is interesting, and a few other areas that could be quite useful.
Clarkson will be testing sensors on the sleds to see how strains and vibration affect it. That feedback will tell them where improvements need to be made. Kennedy said that you have to look at every competitive edge there is to succeed. Mark Ramette is a five-time Olympian, winning silver and bronze medals in 2002 and 1998. He said that athletes must have full reliance on their sled. Luge sponsors like Norton and Dow helped the U.S. Luge Federation develop their sleds.
When we're going at speeds of 90 plus miles an hour, we need to make sure that we have full confidence in the sled. Norton, as I mentioned before, and Dow, some of the investments that they make into our sleds really helps the athlete be confident in their equipment.
Behind me is the Luge Training Center that has served the athlete well over the years. But this summer, it will be knocked down to make room for a new $5 million bigger and better facility.
USA Luge is going to be expanding our start facility, which you see behind us. We've actually outgrown this facility, and what we're going to be doing is turning the three ramps that you can see behind me into two ramps, and they'll be running parallel to each other. And we're adding distance, and that's also going to give us, our athletes, the ability to perform a more complete start. But it's also going to give us the much-needed workshop space that we're requiring these days, given all of our technical advancements.
The state is funding the $5 million Lake Placid building. Completion will be in about a year, hopefully drawing more athletes to the sport. Duncan Kennedy and the U.S. Luge Federation, like sled builders around the world, are working on their next creation that will compete in the Beijing, China Winter Olympics in 4 years. For Mountain Lake Journal, I'm Jack LaDuke in Lake Placid.